Hey everybody, today I'm going to be searching a large unsearched bag of big silver coins and apparently a gold coin. The person I know as an acquaintance, they knew I made videos, they had this pouch of coins and they asked me to search it. So I said, great, I'd love to do that for a video. They said that I could do that. And to maintain the integrity of the hunt and my surprise and excitement at finding these, I haven't actually looked at the coins, so for all I know, it could be a bunch of Eisenhower dollars, though I doubt that. This bag is really cool. Let me see what it says here. It says the National Bank and Trust Company of Fairfield County, Stamford, Connecticut, which is about 15 minutes from where I live, so it seems pretty authentic. It's an original bank bag. We're going to open it up. Unfortunately, there could be some valuable coins, and they're not stored the best way because there could be some contact between the coins inside of this. So I'm going to make sure to be really careful when I'm handling these coins. The abrasions can really remove condition from the coins. We're going to try to really treat the coins well here in this video. With that being said, let's get into the hunt. So here we have the bag, the National Bank and Trust Company, Fairfield County, Stamford, Connecticut. And I think since I'm going to be removing the coins so carefully, I'm not actually going to open it on camera. It's just going to take me a while to do that. I want to make sure, but I'll have them back stacked up and I'll be back in a moment. So let's start the hunt. Just as a reminder, we have this coin in a pouch. Most of these are Morgan dollars. There were a couple of piece dollars that I saw mixed in there, nothing else as far as I'm concerned. But this, I've been told, is a gold coin. I haven't verified it. I have no idea what is in there, but I've been told it's gold, which would be really cool to unbox with you guys later. For now, though, we're going to start out with an 1880s Morgan silver dollar. So that's not a super scarce date or anything. 1899, if it doesn't have a mint mark, would be kind of valuable. It does. It has the O mint mark. Just so you guys know, the S stands for San Francisco, O for New Orleans. So both good pickups, and they're just kind of fun pieces of history. Here's an S mint. That's where you look for on the piece dollar design. Piece dollar from 1922 is going to be the year. So that's just kind of a different silver design. They were made from 21 to 35, I believe. Right here we have an 1883. It's got a little bit of damage, but Morgan silver dollar. And these are really cool just to be able to see this many Morgan silver dollars floating around. I get to see it from time to time in the coin shop, but it's still always awesome when you're actually the one searching. And this is an O mint, so again, New Orleans. That's going to be 1890. Continuing on, I'm just going to go from that back lot, I think. 1884, if it's S mint, that would be kind of cool. And it's not, it's just regular. The 1884 and 1885 S coins can be pretty valuable in better condition. So that's just kind of a fun, here's 1885, fun little fact. There's a lot of conditionally rare Morgan dollars. And here's an 1878, and it looks like it once might have had some cool looking toning or something on the side, but that's the first year that they were made, and we want to count the tail feathers, and see if there are 8 of them. There are 7, but I think that the 8 is slightly better. Morgan dollars, it's often cool to have the first year, so they can be slightly more valuable. Here we've got a 1923, and all of these in pretty worn condition so far. It would be cool to get some uncirculated ones, but these are not too fabulous in terms of the condition. 1884, moving on, another Morgan dollar. This one has the O mint, so maybe it'll be a good date. 1884 also. When I say that these are bad coins, I'm not saying they're bad coins. I'm just saying that there's not significant value associated with it. 1924 could have an S mint, in which case it would be a better date, and it does not look like it'll possess that. The thing is, when you're looking through coins, even if they are pretty much unsearched, apparently the person who had these didn't care too much about the numismatic stuff. It's still pretty tough to get these great dates that you hear people finding. 1879, the date on that, so an older one as well. 1892 is this one, O mint. That's not going to be spectacular. 1893 O, though, would have been an awesome find. 1922 doesn't matter too much what the mint mark's going to be. Since these aren't my coins, I'm not really too concerned with just finding regular ones or finding dates for a collection. Like when I coin roll hunt, I'm often getting really excited about coins that might not be worth a ton, but they have a specific date and mint mark combo that I can add to my collection. It's less of the case here. There's another O mint from New Orleans. I always find that interesting. And 1899 is going to be the year on that. So I think we found out 1899 S and O, if I remember correctly. Would love to get the no mint mark. 1879, nothing. Sometimes you may have heard me referencing the CC Morgan dollar. That stands for Carson City in Carson City, Nevada. This one has a little bit of tape on it, unfortunately. 1924. I'm going to look extra close for that S mint mark. Doesn't appear to be there. But that would be really awesome to find a CC Morgan dollar. 1900 O. There could be the O over CC. I don't think I see it, but I'll take a closer look. I'm probably going to end up bringing these into the coin shop with the owner's approval to take a look. There's one of our employees is quite good about looking for the VAMs, which are special varieties that, you can pretty much be only a Morgan dollar collector with the amount of depth that there is in the VAMs series. I want to say it's like Van Allen and Malice or something like that. I know I did a trivia question once on my trivia YouTube channel, but sometimes I then confuse myself and think of fake names that I made up to confuse the viewers and end up remembering that instead. Here's the 1882 O, and it can be a good find. The 1882 O over S exists, so that'll be something that I'll set aside and look for closely later. It's tough to really scour these coins for details while I'm presenting and searching them live with you guys. Or not live, but you know what I mean. Here's a nice condition 1923 peace dollar, and that's fun to find. 1922. And again, there's also VAMs that extends to the peace dollar series. There's a lot of specialties. 1884 S. When this was made, if they'd kept it that way, it would have been worth several tens of thousands of dollars. But that's the circulated version. That's like a slightly better date, but it's not super special. Here's an 1878. We'll count the tail feathers. It looks like 7, but it also looks, I'll show you, or try to zoom in really closely. To me, that looks like the 7 over 8 tail feathers. And that's something that I've just seen. I've actually never studied it closely enough or studied this series to be able to designate it, but it does look like the 7 over 8 because you can see those 3 little feathers poking out underneath. But another fun first date find. Here's the 82. And it's always just so fun. I really like coins, so collecting. In the past, on some of my other search videos, people end up saying that, they think that I'm jaded with coins, if that makes sense. Like I'm not getting excited about specific coins, and I don't think that that's exactly the right way to diagnose what I am, but I definitely have seen a ton of coins, so I'm not like going crazy about relatively regular finds. I get really excited with looking at like coin roll hunting because there's still things that are not that valuable but really rare to just find out in the wild. It's less so for me when I'm like hunting a collection where the owner knows that they have a lot of stuff. Like the owner basically knows that they have a ton of things that have some value, like silver value, and they kind of want me to diagnose it. There's a Denver D mint mark on the peace dollar, 1922. And like I know that, if I see a ton of Liberty nickels and I say that they're not worth very much, that's pretty much me just saying they're worth bulk rates because I get to see so many of them. And the truth is that they're not worth a ton. They're worth some. But that's just something that I'm thinking about as I'm making this video. And I try to vary the commentary. So that's just something that I'm briefly addressing as I make this. So we're through a couple of stacks, and there's not too many crazy finds to report. But that sometimes is just how it goes. So 1899 O is going to be our date. And what I might do is go in and have these VAM attributed. 1879 S, and then report back at the end. And there's a good probability that none of them are special or specifically interesting, but it's still good to check. And that's another trap that people can go down. Like, here's the 18 or 1900 O over CC. Could that actually be it? It almost looks, because there's a potential, and I honestly think that I see a little bit of metal protrusion right there. I'm going to have to look closer. That would be an awesome find. Just when I tilt it right that way in the light, it could also just be something else, but that could be a really cool find, and I would be very pleased to find it. And it kind of contradicts my next point, which is that I was going to say, you have to decide what you're going to do with searching coins. Like, I have the potential, like I have $1,000 of pennies that I'm going through very slowly, 2 boxes at a time for YouTube videos. And if I wanted, I could look at each and every coin for cherry picking under a microscope. But I don't really have the time for that, and I don't have a ton of knowledge when it pertains to that. Like, I do a lot of videos on it, but it's not something I have a ton of experience with doing personally. So I often end up not, there's a 84O. I don't think that's super special or anything. But I often, like, I don't have the time really to go and find a ton of cool coins. I know people who are finding like 72 double dies, 83 double die reverse. These are pennies. Great finds. I don't know anybody who's personally... Is that a 1924S? I think that's on my list of better coins. Peace dollar. Super, super worn. But I do believe... I made a list because I don't have everything memorized. I think the 1924S was on that list as one to look out for. So I'm also going to put that to the side. That's really, really cool, by the way. I'm trying to... Yeah, so like there's people who are finding all this crazy stuff, but then you also have to sift through a lot, and I'm trying to make 3 videos a year. I do a lot of them far in advance so that I can, there's 7 feathers. This is going to be a first year as well. I do the videos way in advance because I'm often at college, and I just can't produce videos when I'm there. Here's a cool uncirculated one, or not necessarily uncirculated, but it's got a lot of luster. And the date's going to be 1886, so I'll put that to the side. That's a fun find. But basically, I don't have the time to look at every single one. And I personally derive a lot of my enjoyment from making videos, trying to grow the hobby, reach new people, and provide entertaining content to people who are watching the videos. 1887, nothing. Ooh, here's a decent condition. It's too bad they have that stuff over there. 1878 S. Sweet. Anything special with the tail feathers? I don't exactly know what I'm looking for here, but I'm going to put that to side. Like, yeah, so I just love making videos and seeing people that are watching them, leaving encouraging comments, that type of thing. 1899 O, again, we're thwarted there with no 1899 nothing. 1926 S, is that a better one? No, I don't think so. Yeah, and that's like how I really enjoy it. And then I have a job in a coin shop where I just have a good time getting involved with coins, doing similar hunts like this, except not for a video. So it's kind of fun. Sometimes I get content that I can then, or stuff that I can use for content, and that's fun. But there's different ways to enjoy the hobby is all that I'm saying. And like, again, I know that there are definitely entire clubs and websites dedicated just to understanding the varieties on the Morgan dollars. I think that's awesome because I think that really helps the hobby. There's some tape. When you have such specificity for people that just love a certain thing about the hobby. And I don't think that that's like weird or anything. I think it's just really cool that there are people who are immersing themselves and gaining a lot of knowledge about these very specific varieties. Here's at 1883. And we see a fair amount of Morgan dollars, but I think often they're pretty searched. And it's cool, as far as I know, I've been told that these have not been searched. And that would make sense if that 24S is still in there and in fact valuable. I know I put that on my list of things to look for. For all I know, I could have miscopied that, and not having so much experience. Like one thing, here's a thing about some forms of coin dealing that would surprise you, and definitely surprised me when I kind of entered the industry. Apparently there's a double die reverse that I can look on for some of these. So I'm going to put this to the side. I doubt that it's there, but maybe I'll take a look later or in a break. But again, one thing that I was surprised at in the industry is that I thought that like all coin dealers would need to know like every key date or like every semi-key date that exists for pretty much all the coins. And I'm totally wrong, and it really makes sense because they have these resources where they can look a coin up. There's a 1921S, kind of a cool coin. They made them from 1878 to 1904, and then again in 1921 with none in between in that 1905 to 1920 range. What was I saying? Oh yeah, like there's so many resources that you can just look something up with that you don't need to devote your time to just memorizing lists of specific dates. People aren't really cherry picking. They're not going to put coins like in their bin that are really valuable based on date alone. So I can just sit with a list and look through a bunch of Morgan dollars. I don't need to memorize it. It's obviously good and a good idea to memorize it, but I feel like that would have been a lot more important, say, 35 years ago. The other interesting thing that I've kind of been researching, or was researching a long time ago, and I didn't get around to making a video on it, is key dates that used to be. Like, the GSA Horde brought out a ton of new coins. Here's a 1921S solid condition that were previously unreleased, and I think it eroded some existing key dates and maybe made some then more scarce. Basically, there's tons of coins that people used to think were really rare, and maybe were even the kind of capstone best coin in the Morgan dollar series, and now, are just not even really thought twice about, in the sense that they're just like regular date coins. And then I'm sure there's others that may have become scarce over time. I'm not really as sure about that because I never tangibly researched any of them. But that's just kind of an interesting topic. The other thing I have to say is earlier in June, I was at a camp, or not really camp, it's called the A&A Summer Seminar. And it's out in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And I had a chance to go to the Money Museum, and there were just some incredible coins lying around, some of which included the pattern coin for the, like, pattern examples for the Morgan dollar, which include coins that, or I should say differently, pattern coins are coins that are like tested out, it's trial designs, and then they end up deciding on a specific design, and the pattern coins are just beautiful. There are so many cool designs that could have been implemented, and I really like our Morgan dollar. I think it's a classic, but it was just really fun to see some of what could have been basically as America's history and coinage. I'm just it's fun to, instead of just announce all these dates, to kind of talk through it with you guys. Here's a 1879S, but you guys can see the dates. I'm trying to hold them as close to the camera as I can. There's another estimate, 1890. It's kind of fun to just air out some thoughts basically as I'm looking through these coins. 1921D, that's kind of cool. This was the only Denver Morgan dollar because they didn't make any. I think, is that right? Did they not make Denver mint coins before 1905? I don't know, but I know that the D mint only appears on Morgan dollars in the 1921 issue. It's fun to just air out thoughts about coins. One thing that I would be interested in hearing your guys' opinions on in the comments is what you guys think of the parks and state quarters. I thought the state quarters were kind of cool. I'll just weigh in myself. But I feel like we could get some different types of coinage implemented, some different designs, something really classic on the quarter. I wouldn't mind not being as historical with some of the obverses and even just going to like a general Liberty design. I'd also think it would be cool to get some just new figures featured overall. There's a really worn. That's probably the most worn coin we've seen. One other cool thing is lowball Morgan dollars. If you can get one, I think this would probably be an 02 or maybe a 3. Maybe a 2, though. Lowball Morgan dollars are basically Morgan dollars that can get graded at a poor 1. That's actually something that's desirable. People put together collections that are just poor 1 coins. And they try to get the lowest grades that they can. Now, there's enough 2s out there where those aren't really that valuable, but it can be so cool. I don't own any personally that have the that low of a grade. Here's an 1884 in solid shape. If it's an S, that would be cool, but it's not. We found a cool in one of these Morgan dollar hunts. If you remember it, I think it was the last one that I did. There were a bunch of them. We went through, and there was a 1884 S, which can be a better condition coin, or a better coin in better condition. Crazy toning, kind of proof-like, surfaces. This one has a S mint mark, and I can't tell if it's funny. I don't think it's upside down. But it had this crazy reverse, and I had no idea what to make of it. I thought it could have been anywhere from like just a bad, uninteresting coin to like maybe I didn't know that much about grading at the time. Maybe low mint state. It's too bad somebody carved a W into that one. 1889 plain. But it ended up, I sent it in for grading, and it's an AU50 coin, which is really cool. So it's probably worth a few $100s if you get the right buyer who's interested in that very toned reverse. Could be more. So that was just something cool to see. That was nearly a really good find. 1894. If it had been either plain or the S mint, it would have been super valuable. Unfortunately, we're left with the O, so that's kind of something that I wish would have gone a little bit better. We'll see what this is, 1890 O. And maybe for these last ones, if there's potential to be a good date, like 1899, that's another O mint. I'll try to make it a reveal instead of just going on with the thought experiments. But yeah, I think like, 1878. Let's see what the back... I think that's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tail feathers. So, again, I have to admit, like, some people pretend that they're total experts. Like, when I'm going through these coins, I don't have immense expertise, but I do want to have a fun search because sometimes you find the coins that are worth a few $100s. I think one of the earliest videos I didn't treat the coins as well as I would have liked to. That's why I made that little disclaimer in the beginning about actively treating them well. But that blew up and got my channel kind of on the map. And there was a 1878 CC coin in that, which was a great find. And there were also cool VAMs that I didn't get into quite as much. That O mint mark looked a little funny, but I don't think there's anything special to it. And then, so it's always fun to get some content that has potential to make for a really cool live find. I don't know exactly when I'm going to release this video, so I don't want to spoil it, but earlier today, not necessarily when I release this video, if that makes sense, in my filming, I had the best find I've ever had in coin roll hunting. And that was really incredible to just get that and be able to share it, because I think I probably won't find anything that good in the next few $1,000s worth of pennies that I hunt, if I even can. So my career may have peaked in that moment in terms of the pennies coin roll hunting. 1881 plain. And so based off of that, like, it just serves as a reminder. You should always be checking and trying to hunt live, because you can find something wild, and being able to show it is super special. And if not, it's still just fun to go through these coins with you guys. So at 1881 plain, this one's solid shape, or maybe not really, 1888, nothing. I wonder if there's an inverted digits thing or something. That could be wishful thinking. Probably an error that doesn't even exist. 1889 O. Let's see. A lot of O mints. Another 1889 O coming in, which is kind of fun to see. But just tons of coins minted. That does not look too great. 1921. 21s generally are not considered very valuable or super interesting. That one's scratched up. 1889 is a fitting end to this hunt. Now what we're going to do is we got to open up this pouch, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can't confirm the 1924S, if that 1900 has a O over CC back, but this is what I'm focused on right now. Oh, wow. Check that out. That is definitely gold, as the owner said it would be. It says Frank EOS E or IDG Austria Emperador. So probably the Emperor of Austria, and we'll see what the denomination is. It says 1915 Hungar Bohem, so maybe Austria Bohemia. It's because that could be Hungary. I forget what, the Habsburg Republic or something. And it doesn't look like there's a specified denomination on here, though probably people would have known what it was at the time that they were trading. I don't have a ton of experience with foreign gold coins. I really don't. But the edge is ridged, I should say. And I'm going to find out more about this and then do a general wrap-up of the video to show off what we found. So here are the final results, and I'm just going to start up here. We had an 1879, a fair amount of those, and we just got a good variety of different years. There are not too many 1921s, a decent 1886 over there. A lot of the people who bring in tons of Morgans, whether it's to the coin shop or to me, they just have a lot of 1921s, and here it was a fun search in that there were not too many. There was just, I think, 3 or 4. There was a decent looking one that we're just looking at right now. Then for the piece dollars, we had a decent selection, though a lot less. And then here are some of the cool coins. So these are all first date, 1878, like it was the first date that was produced with the Morgan dollar. And then there's the 1878, and that's definitely the tail feathers, 7 over 8, I believe. And then right here, the 1900, I don't think, my best guess is that this is not a O over CC, but at the same time, I can't rule it out, and I'll have a good quality photo, and I'll actually investigate that before I post this. I'm probably going to have posted this about a month or two in advance. And then this 1924S, I was mistaken. The coin is going to be worth money in the much better condition, but in the state that it's in, it's maybe a tiny bit better, but not really anything. And then this interesting gold coin that I didn't really know too much about. Let me see if I can get it. There you can see kind of the proof-like features, but it's an Austria Habsburg coin. They were made from 1872 to 1915. It's a 1 ducat coin, but the thing is that this is a restrike. So all 1915 dated ones have been produced after the fact. They are 98.6% gold, and it's probably like 0.11 of an ounce, so maybe 1/9 or so of an ounce of gold, and the value is going to be very closely tied to that. So it's nothing crazy, but still fun to find, and always fun to hunt a cool unsearched bag. You never know what you can find. Again, by now in the video, you'll know if it's a O over CC error or any other cool things. I may have found a cool VAM if I do search them, but that would be after I do the video. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to get in touch with me, do so on my website, treasuretownYT.com, my Instagram, TreasureTownYT, or my Facebook, TreasureTown. I've got links in the description, and I'll see you on some of my other videos.